What was a good memory you had when you were in school? My 3rd grade class had a reading loft. It was a pretty good sized fort, probably taking up 1/3 of the classroom, covered in carpet and had lots of cool places to hang out if you wanted to read. The teacher incentivized us to finish work early so we could grab a book and head to the reading loft so we didn't have to hang out at our desks being bored. I got banned from reading in class because I'd finish my work early and pull out a book. The teachers would always say I wouldn't pay attention. So I started writing and doodling. Then the teachers started confiscating my pencil and paper, saying I wouldn't pay attention. So I'd read ahead in the textbook instead. Then the teachers started holding my textbooks when I didn't immediately need them, saying I wouldn't pay attention. So when I'd finish my class walk I'd just dissociate and spend the rest of the hour staring at empty space. It was not particularly healthy. And it definitely has had a permanent effect on me. I got bullied a lot in middle school. One day in math I'd just been overwhelmed and couldn't take any more, so I called my dad and begged him to pick me up. He told me I'd be alright and just ignore it. 20 minutes later I got called to the office for checkout and he took me to get my favorite food and spent the afternoon in the park with me. R.I.P. old man. In 3rd grade, it was some reading appreciation week, and we decided as a class to visit a cemetery. Granted, it's a pretty famous cemetery with a couple of really important people buried there, and we had a scavenger hunt to find them, along with like the oldest grave we could find, the biggest, and we had to make a rubbing of one of our choosing. As a strange child, it was the best field trip I had ever been on. When I was in 2nd grade, I got bullied because my whole family was deaf. One kid kept picking on me every day. Well, one day he came up to me and started screaming, saying, "Can your mom hear me?" And this tall girl stepped in and punched him in the face. She got suspended, but no one ever made fun of me again. We became best friends after that. I was always a shy introvert, and when I went off to high school I made it a goal to do one thing during my 4 years there that would force me out of my comfort zone. I ended up trying out for the cheerleading team. I was definitely not the type to get up in front of a crowd and cheer. The tryouts involved performing a personally choreographed dance, which was no issue as I had some dance background. They allowed those who wanted to try out to perform their dances in groups. But since I had no friends I did it alone. I was so damn nervous, but I did it and I made the team. The rest of my high school experience pretty much sucked, but that one thing made me really proud of myself. A math teacher paused a class because he got a message from his brother. His brother met a girl at a party and had a crush on her. But he found a week later that she was lesbian and got a heartbreak. He went outside to call his brother and came back and told us the story. Every morning my teacher will ask us questions about history. If we get it right he would give us a Snicker bar. But this the funny part. He would throw the Snickers bar at us real hard. So if get the question right you would had to dodge the fast moving Snickers. Watching my mother rip the principal a new one because a typing teacher failed me for poor posture despite my having 100% on every assignment plus bonus marks. Mom ranked up that day. In high school we had a group project and this class was 90% girls, so the other 10% guys, including me, were in a group. This teacher used to kinda gang up on us with the girls, and one day she was preoccupied and we were talking about how we didn't want to be there and we should just jump out the window. This one guy scopes out the window, sticks his feet out first, gives us a wink and just jumps out. Dropped probably 7-10 feet onto the grass and just waltzes back into class like he just came from the bathroom or something. Teacher didn't even notice. One of my math teachers in high school was a bit on the crazy side in a very good way. He'd scoot around the room on his desk chair, rolling over backpacks and the like. He'd punctuate talks with weird sayings like but, he said, which is tub spelled backwards. He generally made the class time entertaining for everyone. One day, he decided to show us the derivation of a mathematical formula. Nowadays, showing this particular formulation to a bunch of high school students would likely get him kicked out. I don't remember the exact derivation, but the end result was the integral of e to the x power equals some function of u to the nth power. Written out, it looks like this. Sec x equals f u n. Yes. He went through a whole mathematical derivation just to tell a group of high school students Sx equals fun. I received my crush's love letter. Received or intercepted? I was a terrible student and a huge baseball fan growing up. In 6th grade I had an English teacher who knew I wasn't dumb, just hard to motivate. She privately offered me an extra credit assignment. All I had to do was write a 2-page essay on any topic I liked at all explaining why I liked it so much. I straight up turned down her offer, being content with my C grade. So she flipped it around on me and publicly told another guy in my class that since he was the biggest Red Sox fan in the class, he should write a 2-page essay about the Red Sox and present it to the class. I practically jumped out of my seat and said I was a way bigger Red Sox fan than Mike and I should be the one writing that essay. She let us both write one. Watching my stepdad call the principal of my school in 4th grade out on his bullshit right in front of me. Because it was the first time I had a father figure in my life who cared enough about me to stand up for me. Slowly hiding all of the textbooks in the ceiling in my carpentry class over the course of the semester till they were all gone. Skipping out on a Monday to drive to the city 5 hours away to see Iron Maiden in concert, December 1984. Approaching my crush and saying hi only to be branded as a weirdo. She makes me laugh still. 2nd semester junior year. Springtime, just setting in a new group of guys became a part of our family. We were busy every day hanging out and partying at the house and the girls we were talking to all loved us. Nickelodeon took over my school when I was in the 2nd grade. We were the first school to win and it was because a girl at my school who was a few grades older entered the contest. All the Nickelodeon celebrities were there. MR Wizard did cool science experiments. Bath did gross stuff with food. Mark Summers had the super sloppy double dare obstacle course we could go through. Teachers got slimed. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles put on a concert. It was literally a dream come true. And then at the end we all got free backpacks filled with Nickelodeon swag. I still think about that day. The one time in 4th grade when I managed to beat up the big bully in my classroom. Don't beat yourself up, man. Going to an inter-school sports competition. Our school would participate every year and we would come last without fail. I took part for 8 years during which we never won anything, just got a participation certificate. While going to the competition we would play games on the bus, listen to songs, eat at fast food joints. Looking back, I don't remember the many losses that our team endured, but the time that we spent together is still crystal clear. It was never about the destination. It is all about the sweet journey. Going home. I got in trouble for calling my English teacher out on an incorrect Harry Potter fact she was spouting one day. Granted, I was a little shitty and was also refusing to do the work she assigned. But I was done with her BS. Principal decided to give me detention as punishment. Thing is, detention involved an hour or so of homework reading time before a period where we were to help the host teacher with whatever tasks they needed. I was a book nerd. And the host teachers were both science teachers who I got along with swimmingly. Plus, they wanted help with cleaning the fish tank. Needless to say, those days of detention were awesome. I just remember the principal's face when he asked me how detention was going. Apparently, being excited to go back was not what he expected. Whenever we needed to use our laptops for class, the gang would gather in the back of the class and play COD4. Watching a freshman attempting to deep throat 7 cheese sticks at once. Oh boy, it was a few months before Corona. Middle of the winter. It was so cold that I guess the morning dew froze and so the floor was kind of frosted over. I'm late to school riding my bike as fast as I could. I arrived but my class was kinds far. So I run for it determined to make it on time. I go up the stairs of the 800 building, which is outside of the building, and run to my class. I'm running. Then I notice I'm about to run right past the class who are all outside. I make an abrupt stop. But the frosted floor has other plans. I slide about a good 6 ft while still standing. Everybody's watching me in awe. I didn't fall down. It was epic. Edit. Getting my diploma and never having to worry about going to school ever again. The nice people. Kids can be assholes. But in high school, there were a few nice guys that I could just sit and chat with. No judgments. Edit. Thanks for award. I tried locating one guy in particular who was super nice to me a few years ago. But to no avail. I always wondered where he wound up. So, Vincent, the Brazilian guy who loved soccer, let me know. When I started getting into trouble in year 8, first year of high school, I was told to go see the vice principal. I believe this is after I called the teacher a bitch or CNT. ADK. I was in a rebellious stage because I was being picked on for being nerdy and fat. So I stopped caring about classes and teachers. When I got into the office while I was waiting, another teacher walked in and asked the VP, "Do you know whose mug this is?" Pointing to a mug with a tiny cartoon on the side. Me with my head down, barely looking at it as I waited to get told off. Said it might have been the art teacher's because she likes Gary Larson, the artist of the cartoon. The vice principal in bewilderment said, "Wow. How very observant of you." It wasn't much. It was just being acknowledged in a place that I felt was tormenting me every day while wasting my capabilities. A memory that has always stayed with me is because of my A-level English literature teacher. I couldn't meet a deadline because I was going on a girl guiding camp, so I wanted to be truthful with him. I also wore a lot of black and leather, so I was the sixth form goth. I went up to his desk. Explained. I'll never forget his reaction. "You really are an enigma. Zebra polka dot rainbow." 3 months later he was found dead from a brain aneurysm during the school holidays. I'll never forget you, Mr. Bushell. In 4th grade, one of my teachers told me I had a nice smile. That was the first compliment I remember ever having. Halfway through my freshman year of high school, we moved across town. I was leaving a school where I'd been constantly bullied and never made a friend in 2 years. The only time any of them talked to me was when they found out where I was moving to. Oh. Good luck, they are total snobs over there. So, my first day at my new school, I was petrified and kept my head down. 4th period rolls around and it's lunch break. The bell rings. Suddenly there are 3 big dudes looming around my desk. "Hey. You're new to this school, aren't you?" "Ah. Shti. Here it comes." "Yeah. Cool. Come sit with us at lunch until you know some people." "Huh. What?" Turns out these guys were some jocks that reached out to make sure I wasn't uncomfortable. I sat with them for a week or 2 until I made some friends. I'll always remember this act of kindness. It was exactly what I needed. Standing up for my friends when they were being bullied. Sitting in 9th history, which I hated, with my 2 close friends. But specifically it's remembering one of them. I was not a very liked girl in high school due to a lot of bullying and a horrid disease called I was ugly. But this friend didn't care and would go through a lot of effort to make me laugh, and we would get in trouble all the time. I like this memory cause it's 9 years later and that friend moved in as a roommate and now we are a couple and it's the best relationship I've ever been in. I don't know why I remember this. Given the timeline here. When I was in kindergarten, we were all sitting in a circle being read to by the teacher. One of the teacher's aides walked up behind me and patted me on the top of the head. For some unknown reason I leaned back and ended up with my head completely under her dress. She had on a very nice pair of white lace undies. That ended my luck with women for like the next 20 years. Summer vacations. I wish we still got those as adults. Memories of making great friends and going home mostly. A field trip to the American Museum of Natural History. It made the study of dinosaurs much more fascinating. Astronomer here. I had a very long bus ride to and from school. About an hour long. And I would spend the time reading. That was not my good memory necessarily. But the one I'm thinking of was running to the school library right before the bus was leaving when I was 13. Frantic because I had nothing to read. Remembering I wanted to read something about astronomy. So I picked up a general astronomy book. And wow, I love stories. And I was beyond excited because I realized astronomy is the biggest story we have. I was already plotting what kind of telescope I wanted. And realizing anyone could grow up to be an astronomer someday. Even if you were from Pittsburgh. I can't say I liked school. I was never a good student for various reasons, but I have many fond memories of that library. And my life genuinely changed because of the books in it. Listening to my middle school history teacher give her lectures. In her heart of hearts she was a storyteller and always knew how to keep me captivated. On my first day of school, my mom sent little Debbie pumpkin smiley faces in my lunch. Fast forward a couple of years. And due to my dad's dangerous mental state, I had been in long-term physical rehab, recovering from a gunshot, and living in a group home for about 6 months before my uncle got custody of me. Halfway across the country, there I was, in a different state, with different weather, at a new school where I didn't know anybody. And I open my lunchbox, and there's my pumpkin snack cakes. When I was in school, one Friday per month my father would left work early and he always came get me out for lunch rather than take the rest of the day off. He would take me to McDonald's even though he didn't like it himself. My 5th grade teacher brought in an actual 1700s musket to show us during the Revolutionary War unit. I'll never forget that, honestly. Especially considering that would never fly in schools today, haha. I can't remember which grade, but we were given green pieces of paper and candy. And we were allowed to use that entire space to create gingerbread, actually graham cracker, towns. An older looking kid shaved his head into that balding man Caesar crown style. Put on a suit. Made a fake name tag and went around pulling his friends out of class. Then they went and got high. When my BF and I were in 10th grade, we were walking back to class from the lunchroom. He is normally a quiet person and much more of an observer than anything around people. Except me. When he's around me, he is very silly and just overall really fun. Well, even though we're in public, he was still around me. So he started acting like he was steering a car and rubbed against the wall while making screeching noises. I asked him what he was doing. And he just smiled at me and replied, "I'm a car." I smiled back and rolled my eyes and let him crash into me next as we're still walking back. We shove each other around sometimes playfully. I look back and a teacher is there looking at us funny. And I just say he's a car. It was great. Sitting in the hallways between classes with my friends. And walking 20 minutes to the shopping center in our free periods to get decent food. And maths. Chemistry and biology. Those were fun. Those rare occasions we'd have turkey and gravy with mashed potatoes. It was so good. When the teacher wheels in the TV to watch Bill Nye. Skipping it to go eat at Nando's. My last day of high school. Actually, it was our graduation ceremony. The school made me sit with a bunch of kids I don't know. Others were allowed to sit with whoever they want. The school didn't tell us anything. Just made us sit there. Apparently my stupid ass got the highest standardized exam grade in a subject and I was sat there because those kids got the highest grades too. In other subjects. I honestly did not see that coming at all. But I was so happy and proud of myself. When I was on 8th grade a Friday at 6:40 am we were at biology class. All of us including the teacher were still sleepy. One of my classmates fell asleep and the teacher said, "I know all of you still sleepy. Like yesterday every one of you did a good work, I will let you sleep half of the class." He also fell asleep. but he forgot to wake us up until the bell rang. Biology class lasts 2 hours.